Hello, welcome to the studio. This week's video is a studio vlog where I am working on 3 pieces that just weren't working out, so they've been transformed quite severely and then I've been working on them to make them into completely different pieces really. So I'm using my usual array of monoprinting techniques, hand printing techniques. I'm actually working in my Jamaica Street studio for this video, but you could do these at home, no problem. If you like what you see, then do click like, subscribe to the channel. There's lots more to see at ruthander.co.uk. I've got lots of new available work on my shop, and there's also self-paced video courses to buy as well. If you buy before July the 23rd, you will also receive an invitation to a live online session where I'm going to be going over what you can do with your prints, the ones you like and the ones you don't like. So here are the pieces that I'm working on. This one actually I feel is probably almost there, so I'm not even sure if I'm going to do anything on this one. But these were originally carborundum. That big dark cloud at the top is a carborundum print, and somewhere under there is a bit of collagraph and dry point as well. And then I've already put on some collage, as you can see here. This one, this is actually on Japanese paper. And again, I've extensively collaged over this. I didn't like it. So the cloud at the top has been really covered up, and I've got some colour on the bottom there as well. So I need to kind of bring that back. This one, again, I really liked it when it came out, but I just couldn't make it work. So I covered up that big dark cloud. It was just too much. And I've got these lovely thin layers of collage at the moment. So I'm going to add some more collage to this one, I think. I'm going to do a really big, large, dark piece. So here I go. I've actually just sort of placed the piece of collage ready to go where it should be, which just gives me an idea of where I need to put my glue. And I usually use acrylic medium, but I have changed my glue recently to sort of watered down PVA. Not too watered down, but it seems to do pretty much exactly the same job, and it's a little bit cheaper. And I will be putting this under a weight to keep it flat, so hopefully it won't buckle too much as it dries. There is always a little bit of buckling, and I'm just checking there to see that where I've put the glue, because it's a bit difficult to see from the position I'm in. And then just placing it down. So I haven't cut, as you can see, I haven't cut the collage piece yet. I will cut it after, just to make it a little bit easier to lie it down where I want it. And then just pressing it down gently at first, just with hands. There's already quite a lot of collage and in fact ink on here. So just making sure that it's all stuck down, and oftentimes it's the edges that I miss. So just tucking a little bit more glue right to those edges and pressing down. So what I do at the moment in this particular studio is I'm just using this plastic bag first of all to press down the collage, and then if any glue comes out it'll just splurge onto the plastic bag. But I've also been using it to, I place the piece into the bag and then place it under my cutting board, and that just means that if any glue splurges out, or I've put the glue over the edges too much, it won't stick to anything and it won't pull the paper off. I'll be able to gently pull that plastic bag off. So it's just going to go under there to stay flat and dry, hopefully. So the next thing I'm going to do is, I've mixed some colours here already. I've got a very dark purple, and I've mixed a bit of that with white as well to make a lighter purple. So I'm going to do a little bit of mono printing with that now this is going to be onto the Japanese paper piece. So just rolling out a thin-ish line, and I'm going to take off the ink or paint that I don't want. This is oil paint, as is my usual material that I use for this. Just using a bit of kitchen towel here to essentially create a horizon line. I'm making a bit of land here, looking across water to land. So I'm just taking off the ink that I don't want. So wherever I take it off will be the colour of the paper currently is. I try and take a lot of it off, but sometimes you get those lovely marks left, and I sometimes just leave those. And here I've just got a piece of scrap tissue with a straight line. One of the lines is straight, one of the sides is straight. And I'm just using that straight side to create a mask so that when I place the paper down, I get a nice straight line at the bottom and that nice horizon line that I've just made at the top. Now, although this is Japanese paper, it's actually got quite a lot of glue on it, PVA glue, so it's become quite thick to handle and quite rigid almost to handle. So what I'm doing is just making a fold where I'm going to place the piece onto the paint so that hopefully it is on the horizon line. Make sure you've got cleanish hands, and then I'm just going to press this down with fingers to start with. There's a fair amount of paint on there, so the Japanese paper should pick it up quite well. Just using a Baron here as well, just to make sure I get that nice straight line at the bottom as well. And there we go. So that's actually come out really nicely, that piece of land there, and completely transforms the piece really. So I'm going to add some rain, essentially some weather, with this lighter purple. I'm just going to roll that out. So what I was going to do was actually lay the piece of paper on top and press onto the back, but actually I really like the marks that this roller's making, so what I might do is just leave those marks as they are and just press the paper on. So I don't know if you can see there, it's just making some quite nice roller marks, and it looks like they're quite ragged marks. It looks a bit like rain, so I'm going to see if those will come onto the paper. They may not, because Japanese paper is a bit textured, it's a little bit thicker than what I normally use, and it's already got collage and PVA on. So, but we'll see what happens. So again, just making a fold where I want the bottom of the paint or ink to be. So I'm just going to flip that over and press down with my hands. And I'm going to use a Baron for this because, like I say, there's already a lot on this piece of paper, so it may not pick up the marks. We'll see. Okay, so it has picked up them to a certain extent. But it hasn't picked up, like, for instance, if I used a piece of tissue, it hasn't picked up absolutely everything. Still a really nice atmosphere, actually, though. So I'm quite pleased with that. So what I think I would do is just roll some ink straight onto that page, actually, to cover the areas that haven't picked up the ink that I'd like to. So just getting a nice even amount of ink onto my roller, and then take a deep breath and straight onto the paper. So it's quite nice doing this because, especially if you are doing something like rain, you can make a virtue of the roller marks. You know, it looks like rain moving over a seascape, and you don't have to hide those roller marks, which is quite nice. I'm just trying to get some colour at the top there, just to make the image make a bit more sense. And you just have to be quite bold with this type of work. It's kind of like painting, really. And this is what it looks like at the moment after both of those different ways of monoprinting. So here I'm going to work on one of the other pieces. I'm going to create a horizon line again, some land, but this time with a line rather than creating a form. So again, rolling out the same purple, just making sure that my roller is free of grit and dirt and dust, which sometimes it isn't. And just taking a little bit of the ink off there, because you don't want too much for this. You don't want lots and lots of ink, because it will just kind of get everywhere you don't want it to when you're pressing onto the back of your paper, which is what I'm going to be doing. So I'm just taking off some sort of splurges there, some extra bits of ink that might get into places I don't want them to, just with a kitchen towel. And then just moving my ink or paint out of the way. This is oil paint actually, not printmaking ink. And laying the piece down. I've already actually put the actual horizon line, I've lightly drawn it onto the back so that I know where I'm putting my line here. I'm just using the end of a pencil, a coloured pencil here, to press down onto the back of this. Again, it's thick etching paper with lots of collage already on, so I have to press quite hard, but that's come out really nicely actually. And I'm going to just do very similar technique here, but just maybe a bit more energetic. Rolling out that purple again, dark purple. I mean, it's so dark that it almost looks black when it's not mixed with white. So it's quite good like that for creating darkness. And I'm just getting some really nice energetic marks there at the bottom, hopefully suggesting some kind of plant or reeds. So this is what I've ended up with at the end. I've really quite transformed that. It looks really different, that piece on Japanese paper. Haven't really touched this one as yet, but I may do in later videos. I'm kind of just liking that one as it is. And then this one has had a major collage and monoprint transformation as well.